Hello, fellow members of the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. This is Baruch, American Kabbalah Network, trying to get Kabbalah out to America. So here we have a tremendous story, absolutely tremendous story. There's a lot of questions about this story. One thing is that for people who are interested in Kabbalah, so you hear words here, the special words that the Kabbalah, the ancient Kabbalah, has for us. The question is that how does it relate to us? Because here's the big secret that's coming out of these words and the metaphor that the Rav is trying to teach us, is that we are connected to these things. The world is a yichud, is one. Yisrael, Shem Elokeinu, Shem Echad. So it's oneness. But when you talk about spirituality, we live in a world where everything's separate, but we're really on the most superficial part of reality. The real part of reality is all oneness. It's a Baruch Hu. So here we see that the process of why it is or how it is that we got into the situation that we're in is that we don't see the oneness, and we're working so hard for it. And the Torah here is talking about at the very incipience of reality, as reality is created. The physicists should be looking at this, should be reading Rabbi Nachman, should be reading the Ariya Kodesh. The incipience of the world is an attempt to try to put things together, put everything together, and make it possible for the oneness that exists in the Ein Sof Baruch Hu to be together in lower worlds, in our world, so that we can make a yichud here. That's our story. So here we have these two forces. Now he's going to refine the two sources and the two forces, and he's going to call one the Torah. And the other one he's going to call the neshamos of the Jewish people. Now, which one he originally started out with Eric Anpin and the Leipzig from Eric Anpin and the Malchus of Eric Anpin. He moved to different places. And now we want to see that we have a concept like this. There is a pneumius that comes to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu that's inside of us. We call this neshama. And as I said before in other shiurim, that the word neshama really is a word for a certain level of pneumius. There's also a neshama to the neshama. And there's a neshama to the neshama to the neshama. These all have different names, which we're going to get into in the Sod class. We're going to see all those names and exactly they're called by the acronym called Naranchi. Naranchi is Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. So all of those names are things that we're going to discuss in that class. So here we have a concept of the Pneumios wanting to mate itself with something with the Chitzonius, wanting to put the two of them together. Let's see how it goes in the lesson for today. V'holkol Layah. So the two forces, the Torah and the Nefesh, they want to come to, rather than the Neshama, they want to come together, and how they do this, they sail out onto the ocean. And he says, "Achainu ben Hamelech u'bas Kesar." So these are these two forces. Shem nishmas Yisrael Torah. That's what he says. The neshama, the Jewish people who yearn for the Torah, Torah coming from a higher place, coming downwards. The neshama, so the way that he's using the metaphor, the nishmas of the Yisrael are longing for it. What is the yam? The yam is the spiritual force, the life force of godliness. Olam haba nikra yam, because the next world is called yam. There's the 50 levels of bina. So that yam is yud is 10 and mem is 40. That's 50. Kamaim Ramzal, the rabbi said, because blue, the color on the tzitzis, is close to the color of the sea. Yam doma l'kriya, and then the yam is like the heaven. Rikiya is a word for heaven. Rikiya doma l'kisa kavod. The rikiya is compared to the throne of glory. So there's a pasuk. It says like this: a nonsense or a person who's crazy in the olam ein ata yudea she'olam zeh doma l'Shabbos. Don't you know that world, the next world, is similar to Shabbos? Volam Shabbos b'mena doima the erev Shabbos, and the world that we're in now is similar to erev Shabbos before you get to Shabbos. Yimein adam misaking be'erev Shabbos, that if you don't get yourself together in erev Shabbos, you have to work on it. Ma yochel b'Shabbos, what are you going to do on Shabbos? What are you going to eat? What's going to be there for you? V'od olam zeh doima leyam, but also this world is compared to a sea, to the ocean. When he says this world, he doesn't mean the world we're living in, he means the world of Bina, or the world of Olam Haba. he says it's considered to the dry land. If you can't get yourself together in the dry land, then how are you going to get yourself together in the upper world? So what's he going to do in the sea? What is he going to do in the sea if he hasn't got himself together on dry land? So he says in parentheses that this is the Sfasayam. This is on the banks. We usually say the Sfar. In this case, maybe it's a port. They want to come near land. The Redes El Gashmias Oilam Hazir, because the ultimate purpose of making a Yichud Elyon is for the purpose of creating seeds that could be planted, or the multiple seed here that could be planted in this world, and that the garden that we wanted that comes from the upper world could grow here. So they came to the port, came to dry land, and they saw there was a forest there, so they went to the forest. So Rabbi Nachman has always said that it's good to go to a place where there's nobody there. There's lots of places with nobody there, but you could have your own forest right in your own house if you want, or you could have it outside, you could have it anywhere, but you have a forest. You go in the forest, there's no better place to meditate and to pray to Hashem. And what do you do when you get there? To ask Hashem for everything you need. You have to realize you need things, and you have to realize that the source of everything you're lacking could be filled by Him. He's the one that's making the lack besides that. So the Bas Keser, who we said originally was this flow from up above, she takes the ring. As he had said before, as this is the round or the circular and the squared pact that's between them. The Nosnalo, she takes the ring that he gave her and she gives it to him. So he should hold it. What is the real completion of a Jewish person? Is to be able to learn Torah. It should be tied to it, joined to it, day and night. Because that is our life, that is the length of our days. So she lays down there, or she rests there. So this is something that we're going to talk about maybe at another time, but this is the secret of the sleep. The dormita is like what happened to Avraham Avinu when the bris ben Besarim is that he fell asleep. But this is a very deep idea, and this idea has to do with every night we go through a situation like that as we fall asleep. But different spiritual things happen when we're falling asleep, and it's a real big secret that has to do with Rosh Hashanah. So then the Ben Melech, who was nearby, he saw that he was standing there. Because now that she's settled herself, now he sees that the mochim is the spiritual flow that's coming from up above to down below, that it's coming towards him. So he takes the ring and he puts it next to her. Who also as a kesher, because he's the one, he made a kesher. He's trying to come to her. So after this happened, she was there, and so he brought the ring to her. Then they decide they'll go back to the boat. So what is it that they go back to the? So he wants to say that this is a metaphor for a secret. So what's the secret? The secret is that when the neshama and the Torah want to come together, now the reaching and the giving want to come together. He said, so he says the ship. The ship represents your body. Your body is moving throughout the world. It has the potential to move in the Yam HaChochma. So they may be going to break. They're going to spend some time there. And another pasuk, and the Yonah, the dove, came down to the planks of the sea. So what's this represent? What does the both represent? It represents the lower Shechina. The Itmar Bay have said over there, and they revealed their pearls, and they laid down. Shkivas la'afra, that they came down, they dwelt on the dust. Meaning that this is trying to come into the world. We're trying to plant this great Torah and this great yearning for the Torah, we're trying to plant them together here. But then, she in the middle of their traveling out to the sea, she remembers that she forgot the ring. Is because what happens is that when you get into this world, there's a lot of distractions. So then you're able to lose the actual hiskashrus that made it possible to be here in the first place. I mean, I don't want to repeat a joke that I heard about this, but we are not accidentally made. We are made from tipos that come from very, very high places. So the fact is that we wind up over here and being born with the children of a woman and a man, and also, of course, that's the idea with the with the express panemius of Hashem. But the whole idea is that He placed us here. Well, this is a really difficult place to be. So it's very easy to lose your connection. So then she sent him after the ring, which was the seal of the pact that bound the neshama, which is seeking, and the Torah, which is the fulfillment that it seeks. She needed the ring. But he wasn't able to find the place where the ring was placed. Because when you leave the shorish, and you put the pact behind you, that is the pact that binds heaven and earth, let's say so to speak, you've already made a mistake and you've lost your way from the path of truth. Now you're going someplace else. He says then you're walking somewhere else. And he wasn't able to find the ring. Because the Torah, and Kedusha, and the binding of these Torah and Kedusha together with the yearning for the Torah, kasher ma'od lahasik, is very difficult to get it. We're over here. So how does a person get close to Hashem? You have to learn to spend a lot of time with Torah. You have to learn how to pray. You have to really care, and you have to really want it. But it's very easy to lose it. So when you lose the connection, so it's very difficult to find what you lost. The Maimon Zal of the Rabbi Zamad Nechsev, there's a pasuk in Iyov, Lo yarkenu zachav uzchuchis. He says chuchis, don't arrange in front of you gold and precious. Chuchis is really glass. So also klipas, and then take him in exchange for that for vessels of pure gold. And this is what is it talking about? It's talking about the words of Torah, which are very difficult to get a hold of them. They're just as difficult as a vessel that's made out of pure gold. And it's very easy to lose it, like a glass, a vessel that's easy to break. So then she started looking for him. And she went from one place to another until she got lost too. He says it in Sefer Midos, when a person goes and he can't find a Rav that he likes, he doesn't like this Torah from here, doesn't like the Torah from there, then the person has to fortify himself in trying to make a unity with Hashem. In other words, heaven and earth again, trying to put them together. You have to work hard on that. Because if you're learning this guy's ideas and that guy's ideas, and the ideas of many different places, and they contradict each other, then you start to think, well, I'm not sure that it is possible to put things together because there's so much diversity. But remember that we're living in a world of diversity. So therefore you have to take that, you have to be able to work hard to be putting everything together into oneness. And then he wasn't able to get back. So now we're talking about him. Because as he said before, that when a man makes a mistake and he goes on a way which is not Torah-dik, very difficult to get him back on the path. He brings his L'chuti Maran sheyesh drachim nevuchim, because there are very pitiful paths or mistaken paths the person get into. And these are the paths of the people who make mistakes and are corrupted. And when a person gets onto a path like that, he makes that mistake, then it's very difficult for him to get back. I heard a story about Gershom Shalom. I don't know if anybody that's looked at Kabbalah before. Used to be in the 60s and the 70s, and before you had a Sulam or people that were kosher that were really writing about it, all you had was Gershom Shalom, who was really from Hebrew University. It was a shtickle epicurus. So he says he went to Rav Sharabi, and he said, is it okay if I learn Torah, if I learn some Kabbalah from you? So, because here's a man who's steeped in telling everybody that he knows all about the Kabbalah. He's not particularly frum. He's maybe not frum at all. And now he wants to come to a big Mekubal. And he says to him, so he says, of course, you could come and learn only one thing. Don't ask a question. You can't ask questions. Because he knows the kind of questions that Epicurus asks could be questions that are not good. So I said, so Gershom Shalom dropped out. So that's how good Gershom Shalom is. Maybe he's very good at making notes. Maybe he could tell you something about history, but I don't think he could tell you a thing about Panemius and the Panemius of the Torah. So he got lost. She's now going to look for him. The Nites Gam Kain, and she also got lost. Ki lepamim hatzadik mechapes as mi shenisrachik. So sometimes it has to be that the tzaddik, which is represented again by the flow from up above that wants to bring the Torah into my heart, is that he starts to look for us who are lost. But when you're lost, God could be calling to you all the time. The tzaddik could have things to say to you, but just I don't need that. I don't do that. That's not my thing. In the meantime, you remain lost. So he went and he got more and more lost. He went further and he got more and more lost. It's like a shepherd who started to look for a sheep that got lost. Calls the man sheshomeas are called as long as that the sheep. I don't know what he's talking about when he can find the voice. Either I don't know which metaphor it is. Is it the voice of the sheep or the voice of the shepherd calling for it? Hu yochol lahachzor. Then the sheep can get back. Aval yesh shenita kol kach. But there are people that get so far off the derech. We all know this. We see it around us every place. Until they found out, they forgot everything. They don't even know there's a voice out there to listen to. And this is what David the Melech sought. When he says, that I made a mistake, I got lost, like a sheep that got lost. Your servant is seeking. Because even so that I can't find what I'm looking for, but I didn't forget your mitzvahs, I can use them as a way to get back. Ani makir as kol hakriya, because he's still with the Torah, he still remembers the mix of the voice, that there is a voice of the kriya of the Torah, shall Torah of mitzvahs, because he still hears it calling, even though that he's far from it. Then after that, the king's son, or was it king's son? Get it mixed up? Yep, the king's son. So then he saw a path. And he went to a civilized place. But he didn't have what to do. So became a servant. What does that mean? As because when a person, I think about this, when you lose faith in what you're doing, and you really have lost the path of the Torah, you and your faith is not strong, and the person becomes a slave. He becomes enslaved, indentured to something that will keep him alive because that's all he's got. And so he has to become a servant to someone else. Now that was the son. Who's the son? The son is the seeker. He's seeking, right? But after a while, when you get messed up enough, you stop seeking and you start looking for other answers. Answers in the TV, answers in the news, answers in, God forbid, who knows what it could be. And you could get yourself totally and completely lost and become enslaved to them. V'yishva atzma, so she becomes lost also. And then she thinks to herself, Sheteshev etzalayam, let me go to by the sea. Because remember the sea is the sea of Chochmah. Let me go to the place where people are learning. The El Sfasayam, let me go to the banks of the river, of the ocean. Oyusham ilono shal pero. So there she saw by the banks of the ocean that there were trees that had fruit bearing. They were fruit bearing trees. V'yoshva sham, and she settled herself there. V'yom choysa holeches etzalayam. Every day she would go by the sea. Ulai timsa ovrim v'shavim. Maybe she would find somebody that was going back and forth and travelers. V'choysa misparnasis mahaperos, and she was able to sustain herself from the fruit. V'layla choysa oilo al ilon. At nighttime she would go up into the tree. She would go into a tree. Kadei sheticha nishmeres minachayos, in order to be able to guard herself from the wild animals. So now he wants to say, well, what is this metaphor? He says, Muva b'tikunim, b'kol eitz dod tzaddik. When he says, anytime you see the word eitz, the metaphor for this is a tzaddik. The ihu eitz pri osa pri slemino, because this is a tree, a fruit tree, that makes fruit according to its kind. So that the tzaddik himself only wants to divulge or give over the emesdika words of Hashem into our hearts. Because in a place that's close to Hashem, place where the tzaddik is a good place to hide yourself at nighttime. What's nighttime? Nighttime is a time when you're scared. Nighttime is a time when you're upset, you're angry. Nighttime is a time when you suffer one way or another. Because shechoshech marlo, when things are dark and bitter for him. Mefacheh b'chachayos raos, and then you become frightened about wild animals. Chayos torfos, chayos that can tear you to pieces. Shehein ha'machshavos shel kafiros v'pekursos. What are these? These are the thoughts of kafiros, of denying of the existence of Hashem, and that the fact that Hashem is the king is the one that makes everything work. So the kafiros v'pekursos, and turn to be a gershom shalom. Hula alos ala shuhu tzaddik. So what you have to do at that time, you have to run to the tzaddik. Ki misha zochel lehiyos makorav al tzaddik ha'emes, because a person who is zeicha to be able to come close to the tzaddik ha'emes, muftach lo sheyihya shomer mikol mine mazikim mashchitim. Then he's for sure, if that person comes close to the tzaddik and he finds his way to the tzaddik, out of his depression and everything that got him into the pattern that is all wrong for him. But when he comes close to the tzaddik, this tzaddik will guard him from all different kinds of things that can hurt him and different kinds of things that can destroy him. Because the tzaddik will shine into him the truth of the reality of Hashem, begilui rav ma'od, with a tremendous revelation. And by the tzaddik is the place that is most guarded and protected. That's a shir for today.